Ladies and gentlemen, welcome along. It's another round of your DCD season, and we are here in Austria. 8 drivers will take to round number 5 of the season, and well, it should be a great one. My name is Joseph Black, aka Cockcast, and I'll be taking you through today's action. So let's get it underway then with our first drivers heading out on the circuit, and the first driver to head out onto said circuit is going to be the hat of Banana on 60 FPS. He has come into the league the last couple of weeks, and he's looking to try and make himself known in terms of the league itself, and trying to establish his own name at the top of the standings. At the moment, though, he's nowhere near on it, and well, I'll have to wait and see where the Haas driver is able to go. But yes, we are underway. With our first couple of drivers coming out onto the circuit, getting ready for their push laps. And Banana on 60 FPS will be the first one. Loop Race will be the second, and Chaz will be the third to get us underway for our races and for our laps around this circuit. The Haas heading through the first sector, trying to take a wide entry and tighten in and come out on the exit nice and wide, and then heading up to turn number 3, needing to brake heavily and turning into the corner. There's a Mercedes off the circuit. That is Hoppy, who tries to pull off out of the way. Then Banana on 60 FPS heads through the second DRS zone of 3. Of course, there's the one down the main straight, but I count as the last one because the detection and the opening of that zone is before the start of this lap. Now heading through the second sector. Split time 44.399. We're expecting times in the low 1 minutes today. We'll see where the Haas driver goes. He heads up now to the line and goes into the position that he's going to slot himself into, which will be, as he heads around the final corner, it'll be first place, of course, but what sort of time will he be setting? A 104.1. Pretty solid lap time. Luke Racer around the final corner will be the second driver to set a lap time slightly slower in the second sector, and that's demonstrated in the overall lap time of the 104.906. Hello, Floydy, in the chat. We've got Chaz now heading through the final couple of corners. We'll see where the Aston Martin is able to put himself as he heads around the last couple of corners. Pretty quick driver, Chaz, all things considered. And up to the line he will come. The number 37 Aston Martin is going to set the second fastest time of all with a 104.259. Davey Norris now heading up the hill to start his first push lap, and well, hopefully with that rig that he has, He should be alright. Mike's cutting in and out. Well, it certainly shouldn't be. Okay, keep me updated as to whether it still does. But it shouldn't do. We've got one more coming, so that's the Strav. The Stravs? Yeah, I think it's Strav that came in just a minute ago, and he will be trying to set his time. David Norris not pushing on for the rest of this lap. And well, he will come up to the line with a lap time nowhere near as quick as we know David Norris is capable of now. They will come around the final couple of corners and well, come up to the line with a lap time in the 120s maybe as he comes around the corner. Oh, 119.835. He tried to prove me wrong. Chuck Norris up to the line with a competitive time of 105.6. Bryce, Hoppy, and Floypink yet to set a lap time. David Norris yet to set a competitive one, and Strav, who's only just come in, also has not set a lap time. And yeah, five drivers, sorry, who haven't set any good ones. You had to invite someone. Well, that's absolutely fine. Bryce will be out on the circuit in a bit. He just... don't know what that was. I mean, I've had worse. I had my wheel once fall off in the middle of a comm session. That was a lot of fun. But yes. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. David Norris around the final corner. This will be a competitive lap time from McLaren as he comes up to the line. That's Bryce. As he comes up to the line on 104.9. Only just behind Luke Racer, and well, 7/10 ahead of Chuck Norris. Decent start. There's room to improve. Sorry, I am literally trying to find every obviously non-alcoholic bevy that I have in my room because I can't. I've got a lumping through it. Hoppy coming through the first corner to set his first lap time. Luke Racer, his teammate, is in third place at the moment, off the front row by 6.5 tenths of a second. Hoppy going allegedly purple in the first sector. I don't believe that. We'll see. Is it purple? No, it's not. 16-0 in that first sector. Can't wait to be rid of this game. We've only got a few more weeks and only a few more rounds in DCD to go before we can finally get rid of this game and roll on 2025. Dare I say it. Hoppy coming around now to the second sector split time, and it will be... he's sideways, so it won't be anything. And Hoppy will not be setting a competitive lap time. He did well to save it, actually, and not really lose it, and well, his teammate coming through. He tried to get out of the way. Wasn't 100% successful, but in the end, Luke Racer's luckily on an outlap, so it didn't matter too much. Now coming around the final couple of corners to start his lap time, the Mercedes will be looking now to try and improve on his 104.903. Hoppy up to the line with a 118.2. Well, 14 seconds off the pace. Not where he would have wanted to be at the moment, but of course he will be able to improve as he heads through this session. Now up to the first sector split time. Luke Racer will have a lap time to be comparing it to, and it's improving by 0.06 of a second. If you round it up, it's 0.07 of a second for the Mercedes as he heads through the first sector and onto the second now. My mic is cutting out. It's not telling me on my end it's cutting out. Okay, hang on. Let me try and troubleshoot on the fly. That's so weird. Why is it doing that? It's never done that before. I'll tell you that one. Luke Racer improving by 0.3 of a second. It is. No, is it? It's not cutting out on my end, Floyd. Anyway, Luke Racer came into the pits, Bryce and Floyd on push laps. Bryce up to the line, 105.8, washed as always. And Floyd heading through the first sector of 16.5. And we'll see where he ends up going. 5/10 slower in the first sector than Luke Race's push lap. But we'll see where the Ferrari ends up going. He doesn't have a lap time to compare it to. Luke Racer in third place. And Floyd Pink up to the second sector split time of 46.3. Couple of corners to go. I'm messaging Floyd and he's out on circuit, so that was probably a little bit of a pointless activity, but up to the line he comes now, and it's a 107.193, so 1.3 seconds off of Bryce in 6th. Improvement then could be found for Floyd Pink. The number 19 Ferrari slotting his way into 7th place. So is there anybody on a push lap? Hoppy invalidated, so he won't be. Bryce is on his in lap, so he won't be either. And it's Banana on 60 FPS will be the next one. On to a push lap time. The number 95 Haas. I've never really looked at the numbers. I looked at the numbers when I did endurance racing, and it just seems to have stuck. I do it every single time now, regardless of what I'm commentating on. But on here, of course, it's harder to look at the numbers because they're going much faster. These cars absolutely rapid, and Banana on 60 FPS coming around the final couple of corners now. To begin his push lap time, we'll see where he's able to go, but at the moment it can't get any better. P1 for the Haas driver as he heads up to the line and starts his push lap now, trying to improve on a 104.1, which is 0.8 of a second ahead of P number 3 and Luke Racer. Only a 10th ahead of Chaz though, and he's looking to try and beat his lap time from previously. And well, he's his only competition as it stands, and at the moment the Haas just a class above the rest of the field. Jim Strav has made it into the session, but he hasn't yet made it into the car, and hasn't yet made himself able to set a lap time. Banana on 60 FPS now has headed through the first sector, is now coming up to the second sector split, and it's going to be a 44.3, so an improvement by 0.07 of a second, and this could be a lap time potentially in the 103s. If he can get this final sector absolutely pin perfect, that would be a sensational lap time for him to take home. Around the final couple of corners now, and around the final one he sweeps, and Banana on 60 FPS up to the line. It is a 103.918, and the Haas driver breaking these boundaries down and going up to the top of the order. Chuck Norris now a 10th down on his last lap in the first sector, but he may well have made mistakes in the second or the third, which means that he will be able to try and close those gaps, push forward, because he's now at the moment 4 and a little bit behind Davey Norris in P4. And he's just over 0.2, literally just over 0.2 behind Luke Race. Nope, 0.6 behind Luke Race, where he's only 0.02 ahead as well. Up to the second sector split time, not an improvement. And he's going to try and go again. Floyd, it's not cutting out on anyone else's end apart from yours, to be honest. I did say this. Yeah, it's not cutting out on my end. MCH improving by 0.5 in the first sector. And the Mercedes is going to now try and do something with this lap time. At the moment he's in with an 18.2, and we'll come up to the second sector now, and we'll see where the Mercedes ends up going. It's well, it's a 7-second improvement because he did have that slide in that final sector, and or in the final part of his second sector, and he'll now come up to the final one. And we'll see where Hoppy ends up going. 118.2, not where he would have wanted to be, but he backed out on the last couple of corners. But he's in now, and he's in to P4, a 104.6. Yeah, I mean, I've had issues with my mic cutting out in the past, so I wouldn't have been surprised. But, yeah, all good. All good, Floyd. Jim Straff up to the second sector split time, 46.7. So I think this is going to be in and around the 105s or the 106 region for the Alpine as he comes around the final couple of corners and will set his lap time. That's slowest at the moment. Briers 105.8. Jim Strav could be challenging that as he comes around the final corner and goes up to the line. There we go. It is going to be the slowest of all at 107.5. So for the driver at the back of the field and for the driver making his debut. Not the perfect start, I think it's fair to be said. Jack Norris is invalidated, but I think he was on his in-lap anyway, so is Hoppy, and the next driver to be on a push is going to be Floyd Pink, unless Jim Strav is actually pushing on this lap, and he is actually pushing on this lap. He's a 10th down, or almost a 10th down in the first sector, and he'll come up to the second sector split time. So he may well have just backed out in that final sector, which is why he got that 107.5. And we'll see as he comes up to the second sector split time. He is actually improving by 0.2 of a second. So good stuff there from the Alpine. And he's looking to close in on Briers just ahead. He backed out in the final sector. And he comes now up to the line with a lap time that he's going to try and hope into the 105s. Not quite yet as he just gets himself warmed up to this Austrian Grand Prix circuit. It's a 106.996. So he is making those improvements. And he's hoping to make further improvements in this session. Floyd Pink is about to start on his second lap time. And the Ferrari. What a catch. None of you saw that, but that was an insane catch to make sure my headphones didn't fall on the floor. Floyd Pink is going to hope to improve upon a lap time that currently puts him in P7, a 105.630. He comes up to the first sector split time. Isn't an improvement in there? It is going to be not an improvement by 1/4 of a tenth. So there's not much margin in it. And so if he can get any improvements in the second sector, he will be flying on this lap. Heading down the hill to turn number 4 and just getting on the brakes coming out on the exit. It's a debate really whether that is actually turn number 4 or whether that's turn number 3, because the one up the hill down the straight is allegedly turn 2. But as far as I'm concerned, any corner apart from Zandvoort, final corner, where it's got DRS open, is not a corner. Floyd Pink not improving in the second sector either, and he's now 0.06 seconds down, but around the final corner, he's on to a good lap here, I think, as he's improved in that final corner, but not quite enough of an improvement, and a 105.7 is what he's put in. Briers looking to improve on his 105.8. He's improving by 1/4 of a second in the first 2 sectors, and the second Aston Martin in this race tonight is looking to try and be the 6th driver now, as David Norris goes up into the 104.3s. Looking to be the 6th driver to be in the 104s. Not quite yet, and he doesn't improve. 0.083 of a second for Briers, and 8th place is where he remains. Luke Racer up to the first sector split time, improving, and he's now going to try and take that 3rd place that was just snatched off him by Davey Norris back, or he could be looking even further forward. That gap now between Chaz and Luke Racer has been bridged. It's been bridged by Davey Norris, and Luke Racer is now trying to also bridge that gap. He comes out, he's improved in that first sector, and he's now trying to improve in the second one. He comes around now to try and see if he's improved, and he has by 1/10 of a second, 1/10.5 in fact. But that's not quite enough yet, I don't think, and now he's only got a couple more corners to go, but Luke Racer is looking decent if he can find a 10th to challenge with... into the pits comes Luke Racer, and he did not feel as though he was happy on that lap, and will try to set himself up to go once again. The checkered flag, though, is waved, so he won't be able to go once again. And wow, that session went quickly. Time flies when you're having fun. Chaz in that first sector trying to improve on his lap time. Hoppy doesn't improve as he comes up to the line now, and I believe that's Aston Martin just behind of Briers, who will not be improving either. It's the top 2 out on circuit. The last 2 will be setting lap times, and we'll see if Banana on 60 FPS. No, he was improving, but he's invalidated, so it's down to Chaz, who's not improving in the first 2 sectors, to see if he can find 3/10. He is, though, improving in the second one by 0.161 of a second, And he needs to find now another couple of tenths in his final sector. If he's able to challenge with that Haas driver for pole position, second place wouldn't be bad. But as it's always said, it's first loser. Chaz up to the line. 103.906, it is taken. And Chaz snatches the pole position away from Banana on 60 FPS at the final dying moments. And the Aston Martin will be starting this race on pole position. Unbelievable stuff, as he pulled something out of that final sector that nobody would have been expecting. And that is pole position going to the Aston Martin's garage. It's not Bryce's side, it's Chaz's side. Banana on 60 FPS was up by a tenth and a half, but Chaz demonstrating why everybody was so desperate to get him into the league and going up right to the very top of the field. P3 to Davy Norris. And then P4 and 5 go to the two Germans in this session, Luke Racer and Hoppy. Then it's Chuck Norris, Floyd Pink, Briars, and then the sole Greek man that I think I've ever commentated. Oh no, I've commentated on a couple. Jim Strav in P9 with a 106.996, and he'll be hoping to close that gap in as we head into the race. But there we go then. Pole position. Heading Chaz's way. He's stolen it. And it bodes well for him heading into the race. We are now sitting here waiting for the race. And we will see what ends up happening. Put your predictions in the chat as to who you think is going to win this race. And we shall wait and see. Personally, I think it will be between the top two who managed to make their way into the 103s. And I think that Chaz is going to be toppled. That's my prediction. But as always, it's one of those where we're going to have to wait and see. But for the top two, they were so much better than the rest of the field. It was actually quite incredible to see. A faux home race for the two German drivers, and they'll see what they're able to do. But for now, we are waiting. We are seeing what is going to happen. Well, I'll send you to a Be Right Back screen, and after that Be Right Back screen, we will head to Lights Out. We're ready, ladies and gentlemen, to go to the 5 lights. Not quite yet, but at 36, we will be going to the green light and getting ready for green flag racing here in DCD in Austria. And it should be a very, very good race all around. The drivers are ready. The attendants are ready. Look at them. Look at them. They're all so ready for this race. They're all so excited. They're all cheering. Doing that for 2 hours, lads. Will be a bit tiring, I would imagine. But we've got 9 cars lined up on the grid. Keep trying to predict when we're going to get underway. We've got 9 cars ready on the grid, and well, lights out is just a few moments away. I've backed a victory to be taken home by Banana on 60 FPS, and well, he will not be the one leading us away as we go to the lights. But now the lights are on here in Austria. And the action's underway. Chaz gets off to a good start. So does Banana on 60 FPS. He tries to get through as they head into turn number 1. It's down the inside for the Haas. Can he get through? Not quite. MCH squeezes out Davy Norris. And he drops now down into P4. Goes the McLaren. Up into P3. Goes Hoppy. But now as they head into turn number 3, it's side by side between Chaz and Banana. But Chaz coming out on top in the end of that one. And, well, the exit goes to Banana. So this could be a battle that wages on all race long, and it's only just begun. Chaz holding on to it for now, and he will hopefully try to lead at the end of lap number 1 as he holds the outside line. But he's opened the door to Chaz, and you don't want to do, or he's opened the door to Banana on 60 FPS. You really don't want to be doing that as we head through lap number 1 of 36. But now he tries to pull away that gap. A gap has been built up, by the way, between the top 5 and Chuck Norris. 1.4 seconds means that the Williams will not be getting DRS, and that is so crucial around this circuit, as they would just not be getting any sort of advantage across the 3 DRS zones that are back to back. End of lap number 1, Chaz, fastest lap of the race as he leads. But he has a driver right in behind, ready to race in P2. Davy Norris as well will be looking to be aggressive. Banana on FPS pulls to the outside line. Can he make his way through? He's going to. But Chaz is going to try and fight him around the outside. Davy Norris is going to try and go down the inside and compound the Aston Martin's misery. He does so. And Davy Norris moves up into P2. Chaz now, though, trying to hold on to the outside line. They both have DRS on Banana. And Davy Norris sweeps across to try and seal the position. Chaz still tries to stick to the outside line, but he can't quite do it, and he heads through. That is down the order for Briars, and contact between himself and Chuck Norris. Really not what they would have wanted to see on lap number 2 of this race, but the fact that it's happened early on gives them plenty of opportunity to recover. I'm sure that's exactly what they're going to try and do as they head through this race now. But at the end of lap number 2, Briars and Chuck Norris 13.4 seconds off the pack, and with damage as well. That could put pay to their entire Grand Prix. Hoppy closing down, and Chaz down the straight, looking to make a move stick. Not into turn number 1, though, unless he dares. But no, he doesn't. He sticks in behind, and around goes Davy Norris. Down the order he goes. An exit of turn number 1 going oh so wrong for the McLaren man. And he drops down the field. P7 is where he goes, as that was quite a dramatic spin. Hoppy now taking the opportunity to go down the inside of Chaz, trying to make that move as Chuck Norris retires from the session in the pit lane, but Briars will continue on as we head on to lap number 3. Luke Racer and Hoppy and Chaz all scrapping over these positions, and they're swapping around like there's no tomorrow. Luke Racer now up into the lead of it. Chaz now holding P2. This is great for the Haas driver up ahead, who's now going to try and break away, and around the outside looks Chaz, but he can't quite hold on to that move, and he's going to now slot in behind Luke Racer. So the Haas driver, of Banana, up into the lead of the race. And the more they fight, the more of a gap that is going to be built up between them and the Haas ahead. It's 1.9 seconds. It's now up to 2. And this is a great opportunity for Banana to take points, the maximum points home from this race. Chaz holds on to it. He has the DRS, but no, how do they all have DRS? as they head down the straight. They're not exactly in range of anybody. He flapped it open, shut and open again, so it may well have been a visual glitch for Chaz, but he drops down into P2 now. Luke Racer heads up ahead, these three. Developing a battle already in P2, but I think they need to be sensible about it and try to close in on the Haas driver in P1 as it stands. But they are now just trying to scrap over that position that Luke Racer currently holds. Chaz had it at the start, but losing that DRS was so crucial for him, and he will now drop down into P number 3 in the scrap with the two Mercedes. Head on to lap number 5, and it's Banana on 60 FPS who still leads this race, and that gap is just building up more and more every single lap, and that's exactly what we want to see, especially with these drivers behind scrapping away. Chaz making his way past Luke Racer and up into now what is P number 3. And he's now trying to close in on those drivers up ahead. P number 3 up to P number 2. And Bryce comes into the pits. He gives up and retires from the session. So 2 drivers already giving up. Big slide there from Chaz on the exit. And he lets both Mercedes through, although he may try to give Hoppy a little bit more of a fight. But no, he just doesn't have that run. And stays in behind. Chaz making a mistake at a crucial time, and this is exactly why I thought that Banana on 60 FPS would be breaking free and winning this race, because Chaz has that pace, but he hasn't quite yet got the experience, so you know that he is going to potentially suffer some issues when it comes to race pace and consistency as well. And the Haas driver, vastly more experienced and demonstrating it here, 3.3 seconds up. Bryce is going very far up the straight as he retires. Glitched made him look lapped. Well, that's fair enough then. That you retired. Chuck Norris, though, no excuse. Chaz stays in P4. They've built up a gap to Jim Strav in P5. And, well, now they head up the hill. Chaz tries to close in on the car ahead. But again, he's not going to make the move. It is going to be the 2 Mercedes who go side by side this time. Luke Racer around the outside. Hoppy opting for the inside line, cannot make the move, and well, he stays in P3 for now. It could be another opportunity, or it's an opportunity for Chaz to get involved. These 3 scrapping and scrapping away. This is one of the most intense fights I've seen across the 5 laps here in DCD, and Banana on 60 FPS is loving it, with his gap now being opened all the way up to 4.4 seconds, allowing him to take control of this race. Chaz trying to go around the outside of Hoppy as they head in the final sector, and he gets sent through, and now looks to potentially try to fight for that P2 against Luke Racer now. Davey Norris getting past Floyd Pink as they headed through the final couple of corners on this racetrack, and he made that move stick, which is exactly what he would have wanted to do, because now he can close in on Jim Strav and try and make that move. He'll feel as though he deserves to be up there with those drivers further up, but 5.5 seconds is the gap at the moment. He needs to get past the Alpine as soon as he possibly can, as just quickly switching back up to the top. Luke Racer down the inside of Chaz, but a wobble on the exit means that Chaz is going to hold on to the position, looking back at P5, and it's Jim Strav down the inside. There's contact between himself and Davey Norris, and his campaign, the McLarens, gets even worse as the desperation to get past has now cost him even more time, and he and Jim Strav dropping down 7th and 8th, and he will not be a happy bunny in that McLaren car as it stands. He is almost out of the battle for any of the points. Of course, every driver will get points, so it's well worth everybody continuing, but at the moment it's looking like dire days and dire straits for Davey Norris. Onto lap number 8 now, with Chaz 4.8 seconds up the road ahead of the rest of the field. Literally the entire rest of the field, with Luke Racer just behind Chaz. Jim Strav could be coming into the pits to retire, or he could be coming in for a strategic purpose. He's on a set of the mediums and he retires. His debut campaign in DCD lasts only 8 laps. Luke Racer and Chaz still going at it side by side, and it's going to be Chaz who comes out on top with that straight line speed, but it's Luke Racer who gets back ahead, as he just has that top end speed which allows him to retake P2, and these 3 I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is one of the most intense battles that we've had in my time at DCD. And it could get ever the more intense as we are now we will be over a quarter of the way through this race. I started to say it and then I went, hang on, I don't actually know the maths on it. Anyway, and these three still cannot avoid each other. Chaz now looking to the inside. He's on the hards, by the way, so his pace should be much slower than Luke Racer and Hoppy. Hoppy getting through on Luke Racer. Chaz getting through on the two Mercedes, and this is working out perfectly in terms of Chaz's race strategy if he wants to fight for that P2, because he's now on the hards, but a late lunge into turn number 3 for MCH or Hoppy, who's going to try and get through. Can he make that move stick as he heads now to the inside line? They're going to head down to turn number 4, neck and neck, side by side, and it's going to be the two Mercedes that end up coming out on top in that one. So a turn up for the books there, and Chaz trying to fight his way back into this battle, looking to the outside, trying to follow through Hoppy, but he can't quite do it. Hoppy himself getting up into P2, and Chaz eventually getting through as Luke Racer decides to do a Bottas and go for some lawn mowing in that Mercedes. Lots of mistakes being drawn out here today in DCD in Austria, and that is yet another one to add to the list. So for Luke Racer, that's absolutely huge, and for Hoppy and Chaz, that narrows the gap down, means that it's only those two who are going to fight, and it's Chaz who moves up into second place, but Hoppy will have the DRS. Yeah, they head up the hill. The number 37 Aston Martin. I can't actually see what number it is in that Mercedes car, but he's just sitting in behind now. Yellow flags. As Davy Norris doesn't realise that there's a corner. I know there's not many corners on this circuit, but that means that there's even less margin for error, as he's 15 seconds off, and he's just going to now try and come home and grab some points, I would imagine. Because if he was going to retire, surely you'd think he would have retired by now. He hasn't got anybody in and around him to trip over, so I think he's going to be all right. But, of course, you never quite know. Because he could have an issue. 3 seconds for corner cutting, spinning round again. Not his campaign. I'm actually going to cut off him because I feel quite bad. Anyway, looking up the top of the field once again. And it's Banana on 60 FPS. 7.7 seconds ahead. Chaz in P2. Hoppy in P3. Luke Racer diving into the pits to get rid of those mediums in P4. And he will come into the pits for a set of the hard compound tyres. Is he fixing that front wing? Don't think he did. We just about missed that pit stop. I don't think he did. And so he will be now trying to head through the rest of this race incident-free, and hoping that there's something that goes on between Chaz and Hoppy that allows him back into the battle for the podium. But at the moment, these two scrapping away as Davy Norris spins around one more time, and he will now be lapped by Banana on 60 FPS. Somebody's struggling to adapt, I think, to his new setup. And Austria, a circuit where you can be spin happy, has not worked out well for Davy Norris, who's now a minute off of the car in front. He comes into the pits now. In fact, he may well be retiring as he speeds into the pit lane. And yeah, there we go. Davy Norris leaving and retiring from the session. That is every single one of the admins, apart from Floyd, out now. So in terms of the admin battle, that is the championship taken home. So fair play. Or not the championship, the 25 points taken home for Floyd. So fair play to him for winning that one, as almost half the field was comprised of admins. And in the end, it was Floyd Pink, who currently sits in P4, who came out on top. Yellow flags out for Davy Norris' stricken McLaren as he tries to retire from this session. He's got Luke Racer coming through the sector. He is the only driver now who came into the pits and actually came out the other end still in this race. And Luke Racer going for a big undercut. Hoppy and Floyd Pink we could be seeing in the next couple of laps. But we shall wait and watch as to whether that is exactly the case. They'll continue on for another lap, or Hoppy will at the very least. and he will continue on, because why not? He will get that DRS off of Chaz ahead. He's not got the pace to keep up, or he has got the pace to keep up. He hasn't got the pace to overtake. So I think this is actually a smart idea from him, just to sit in there, and yeah, I'd have absolutely no problem with this. But Hoppy does, and he goes around the outside of turn number 3 on Chaz. Can he make this move stick? Yes, he can, and with that DRS aid, it's pretty cut and dry as to that move. Chaz looks to the outside. It's blocked off by Hoppy, and he'll have to go again next lap, as that is the overtaking opportunity he's done for the circuit, unless he wants to go for a gambled move down the inside somewhere unexpected. Either that, or he just continues on, and it looks as though he's just going to continue on in behind and wait for that DRS down the main straight, then up after turn number 1, then up after turn number 3, and we'll see where he ends up going. Around the outside, though, looks Chaz as Hoppy peels into the pits. So he didn't feel as though he was going to get any more benefit from fighting with Chaz. And the Mercedes comes in on lap number 14 to switch to a set of the hard compound tyres and go to the end of the race. So it's going to be a very, very long stint for Luke Racer, who's going to end up having to do, what's that, 28 laps? Nope, I'm stupid. I really can't count. 24 laps on the hard compound tyre. So double what he ended up doing on the mediums. Where's my mouse gone? Anyway, the top few. All Banana on 60 FPS, just looking now to establish his lead at the top. What is going on with my mouse? I can't look at chat. I don't know why. Anyway, Nike saying he's done with this game. Why? What was it? Just one of those where it's just like didn't feel as though you should be spinning around. When he says that, we'll be back next week. But you didn't hear that from me. Because always says that. Automobilista 2 is beckoning, Nike, and it has your name on it. That'd be pretty cool, actually, to have your name on a game. I've always thought this about like having your face be on, or like your body be on the FIFA games. You know how Jack Wilshere got that in the past? That would be pretty sick. Obviously, I'll never get that because I'm not going to be a driver. But yeah, it would certainly be sick in my opinion to have that happen to me. And one day there'll be like a comms game or something like that. I'd be happy to do it. So yeah, you never know what's going to happen. Because literally anything can happen. I'm still waiting for PDC Darts 25. I know, like, we're midway through, or we're not midway, we're like a quarter of the way through 25 now, and there's been no announcement, which means there's going to be no game. But listen, a girl can dream, okay? Lap number 15, we've got the two hard runners out of the top still, continuing on. Floyd Pink as well. Sitting in the podium, he's pretty happy, just to sit in the podium. Don't forget as well, F1 2025 is coming out soon. After record low sales in 24, then they're going to have to do something to revive this game, because 23 and 24 have really, really ruined the franchise's reputation. And they need to do something literally in any way, shape or form to drag this one back from its dying embers, because that's what it feels like at the moment. It feels like they have nothing really they have nothing really left in this franchise, because they can't make those improvements. New gen is unfortunately a step in the right direction. I think the fact that it was on old gen as well was really holding it back. But yeah, DJ Vibes has joined an hour late. Taking the mickey, really, innit? But if he says anything about being surprised about when this race is, he is getting banned from this race. I almost guarantee it. That he's going to say something. Luke Racer picks up a penalty. Floyd Pink comes into the pits. You can't find the Discord server, DJ Vibes. It's DCD. You missed it anyway. You're an hour late. Weirdly enough, not the first time that's happened to me in the last few weeks. I had a co-com in PSGL be an hour late to the race. Time zone changes in Australia, which meant he had to be up at 4, and he ended up being up at 5 because he was used to it before, and sort of rocked up and didn't notice until like he heard me talking that we were halfway through the race, and just sort of went, "Oh my god, sorry." I mean, he's not done any comms with PSGL since. It's an unfortunate time, I think, for him. Or unfortunate timing for him. Let me just, hang on. Banana on 60 FPS is just dominating this race. It's genuinely quite impressive. That he's dominating this race by the amount that he is. Because he was under so much pressure from Chaz at the start. He could be under pressure from Chaz now. But the gap that he's got over them is just insane. In terms of how close it was in qualifying. He had that pole position stolen off of him. But now, you wouldn't know it. You literally wouldn't know it. Just because of how much pace he's had. I know Chaz had that fighting that he was doing. Yeah, DJ Vibes, you've probably been kicked from it. I won't lie, because you didn't rock up. And it's not the first time. So that's probably why you've been kicked from it. Well, that's probably why you can't find it even, because you've been kicked from it. They've had a clear out of people, and because the 2 of the viewers that saw me are the 2 of the viewers that joined off of me, you and someone else, were normally in, not in anymore. It's just one of those things, you know. Be great to have it a bit more prepared. But, yeah. Chaz has come into the pits on lap number 19 of this race, and will switch. He was 10 seconds behind Banana on 60 FPS. So he's decided that now is the time to come into the pits. Fair enough. For a set of medium tyres to try and take the end, or try and take that car to the end of the race. We'll see what he's able to do. He now comes out 6 seconds behind Hoppy, who's just gone for a slide. He's getting a lot of screen time, Hoppy. I'll switch to the other Mercedes, Luke Racer. Because I can't lie. I'm not saying this race is boring. It's not been the most enthralling encounter for these 9 drivers. Of course, it was quite dramatic at the start. But with everybody just filtering through, it feels more like an endurance race. And don't get me wrong, I love myself an endurance race. I do. I love myself an endurance race. It's just not quite going as hoped in this one so far. I've said this before. I actually enjoy commentating on an endurance race more, especially if I've got like a co-com. It's great. I had one once where, it was relatively recently, where you could tell the guy was just like, he didn't really like, it wasn't that he didn't like me. It was that he'd been given a preconceived notion of what I was like. Because I'm quite like, you know, mess around and find out. I'm not very professional. But he had come in with the notion of, I don't like him because he's not professional. And I managed to actually make him mellow before the end of the race. Or before the end of our stint together, which was great fun. Just making inappropriate jokes about inappropriate things. It was good fun. But yeah, there's endurance stuff coming up soon in lots of places. The racing season, pretty much everywhere, is kicking off. It's great. Anybody in the chat, if you're at Silverstone tomorrow, please do let me know. Reason being, I'm at Silverstone tomorrow, so come say hi. I'm going to be in and around the comms box. I'm not going to be commentating. Oh, imagine. Oh, that would be dream. That would be dream stuff. I was outlining my goals because I only started commentating properly on the start of this game cycle. I did start commentating towards the end of F1 23, but I didn't really start commentating properly until 24 and like actually taking it seriously. And I outlined myself some goals. Now, while my progress into some of the goals has stagnated over the last few weeks, I've met more than I thought I was going to, which is great. I've got a list now of goals I put out on my Twitter of goals I'd like to achieve in this game cycle. And some of it is like I've got commentating IRL, commentating at a real life racetrack, like a decent one, like Silverstone or Donington or Brands or something like that. But it's one of those things that's like it feels so far away. Oh, Luke Racer has gone off on the exit of turn number 1, and that is not what he would have wanted to do. However, I think he's gotten back going okay. I think without damage, that's not going to cost him too much time. Yeah, no damage to him. So it's not going to cost him a lot. Floyd Pink is now 4.5 seconds behind. The Ferrari is now trying to close in. Luke Racer, though, does have a penalty. I believe it's only 3 seconds. It's only 3 seconds. So unless Floyd can close in the next 13 laps, then he will just be sitting where he is at the moment in P number 4. Fastest lap goes to Banana on 60 FPS, who came into the pits a couple of laps ago. And has made that switch successfully, very successfully, setting the fastest lap. So just establishing his dominance atop this race, I think it's fair to be said, is that's exactly what he's doing. He's now 6 seconds ahead of anybody in behind. Oppie, the next available car, trying to go to the end on a set of, I'd imagine, the hards. Well, I know what they are. They are the hards, but I'd imagine he's going to try and go to the end of the race on them. I think everybody now is going to try and go to the end of the race. Luke Racer sitting in the number 4, just ahead of Floyd Pink. But he did spin, so he is having grip issues. So maybe he does decide to come in. I don't think pit stops are done. I think that we will have somebody come in trying to set the fastest lap. But other than that, pit stops are pretty much done and dusted, I think. But fastest laps, of course, on offer for the drivers. And at the moment, it's held by Banana on 60 FPS. And I think unless anybody goes for a soft joyride at the end of this race, I think it's going to stay as it is, with the Haas driver taking maximum points home from this race session. And Chaz, though, has closed in on Hoppy, so he could be going for a move, and this could be for the this could allow him to get the fastest lap as well. If he can take that position and the fastest lap, that'd be great, because obviously he'll have that DRS, so he has the opportunity to make that same thing move. He actually needs to make it in that DRS first. I'd say it like it's a foregone conclusion. It's easier said than done to get into DRS, and well, he's now going to try and do it, but we will see whether he's able to. He is closing, which is also another reason why I say it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to get into the DRS. He is closing in, but whether it's by enough on this lap is not, well, it's a good question. I think the answer is going to be no in these next few straights, but I think afterwards it will be a possibility. He's going to make it into that DRS 3-second penalty for Hoppy as he starts to suffer under the pressure from Chaz behind, who's not made it in on this lap. He will make it in on the next lap as well, I'd imagine. And well, he's going to try and do so. Within the final sector. He's only got the final sector to go, of course, before he can get back to the DRS straights, and he will indeed be within that DRS unless he makes a mistake, and he has made a mistake there, so he might not actually have gained that DRS. If he can push on the battery now, he will. I think he may well have just done it. We'll have to wait and see whether the rear wing opens on that Aston Martin, but if it goes anything like earlier, it's just going to open anyway, regardless of whether he actually has DRS or not. Yeah, there we go. He is in that DRS of Hoppy. And he's now going to try and make that move on a fresher set of those medium tyres. Hoppy just trying to hold on ahead, but a 3-second time penalty. He's feeling the nerves from the Aston Martin behind, who now pulls to the outside line. Tries to make his move past him. And the split strategies have worked nice and simply for Chaz as he gets up. But DRS will be available for Hoppy, who's going to now try and salvage anything he can from this battle. Is he going to be able to close in? I don't think he will, plain and simply. I think that is Chaz making that move stick, and he's confirmed it on the exit of that third DRS straight. And now it's just a case of him now trying and break. And what am I saying? Trying to break out of that DRS range, and he's made it up to 8/10. So I think this lap he won't be able to. Next lap is when he will be able to, but it's going to be close as they come up to the detection line, in fact, as to whether Hoppy is going to have that DRS on that next lap. Chaz is going to... well, he's built up a huge gap on Hoppy, so this demonstrates the pace advantage on the mediums as opposed to the softs, and it also demonstrates why Chaz was able to keep with those medium runners in that first six. He's so much quicker, basically, is the part and parcel of it. And he's now 2 seconds ahead of Hoppy, despite getting past him on that last lap. He's pulled away impressively, and Hoppy's just set to sit in behind. Look at this, we're watching on board with Hoppy again. Let's switch to Chaz, in fact, as we watch the Aston Martin try and go as fast as he possibly can. Try and catch up to Banana on 60 FPS now, who's cruising to a race victory. It would be an incredible race victory, as he just warded off any pressure that he had from behind. Chaz got caught up with the two Mercedes. The alternate strategy didn't quite work for him, but it did work for Banana. And that is exactly why the Haas is on top, because Chaz got himself caught up in the battles with the Mercedes. And that was really game, set and match for the end of this race in terms of the battle for that race lead. That was it, essentially, for the race lead. And ever since, Banana on 60 FPS has dominated. Don't even think he's lost that lead after he came into the pits. He waited so long to make that switch onto the mediums. Waited long enough that Chaz had come into the pits and that he can take a grand slam home, or so he will be hoping for, as there is only about 7 laps to go in this race. And is it 7? And Chaz just jumps up above the 10-second mark. Is it 10 seconds? No. Is it 7 laps to go? I can never work this out, so it's going to be... This is the end of lap number 29. We're going to be heading on to lap number 30. I'll count this as a lap. So 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. 7 laps to go. 6 now, as Banana on 60 FPS in the meantime across the line. So 7 laps, 6 laps to go in this race. And, well, it's been a boring one for Banana. But in that case, don't be so quick, Haas. Don't think anybody's ever said that in their life, whether they're a NASCAR fan or a F1 fan. Don't be so quick. Unless they're like speeding under the safety car, in which case there'll have probably been loads of that from Grosjean and Magnussen. I wasn't a big F1 fan when they were in it. I do have to say, I was into F1 when it was Gutierrez and Grosjean. Then I sort of dropped out of it a bit more, and then I got back into it, and it was Schumacher and Mazepin. This was at the start of 2022. It was Schumacher and Mazepin when I looked at it. Of course, Mazepin didn't end up racing that season, and he was replaced by Kevin Magnussen. I feel like I missed out on a lot, because I missed out on the... I missed out on quite a lot of it. In terms of I missed out on almost the entirety of 2021. I think I watched Abu Dhabi, if I remember correctly, but couldn't tell you what happened. Like I can, but I couldn't tell you like anything about it, and I wasn't emotionally connected to it, you know. But yeah, which is a shame, because it was like the best season in Formula One history. I think that's fair to be said. I don't think there has been a season with that level of hype around it, with that level of drama around it all season long. And of course, this is from watching it post. Watching it live must have been absolutely insane. But of course, can't speak on it. So yeah, heading towards the end of this race now. I mean, last season's season finale in DCD was pretty good. I'll tell you that. Nowhere near as good as 21. Also, last race that I did commentary on was PSGO F3. Now that race is in itself not necessarily particularly exciting. F4, don't know if you've seen it. Give it a watch, because it arguably the most insane title finale I have ever seen in anything. So to give you an explanation of it, Damien Curiel, great guy. He and Tom Roberts went into the championship decided level on points. There were 8 drivers who were able to take the title. The top 6 were probably, like, they were within realistic. I think there was about 4 points between them. It's 16 points for a win. But Tom Roberts and Damien Curiel ended up being the ones in contention for the title anyway, as they were in the final round. Curiel was, I believe, in 5th, and Roberts was in 6th as they head into the final corner. Roberts sent it into the final corner, got ahead. It was a drag race to the line. Roberts won it, but it's currently in the stewards as to whether he actually did win it, or whether it was just, you know, a dirty move that deserves to be punished. I personally think, and I've spoken to Damien about it, and about why I think it is, I wouldn't have even reported it. I just think it's fair game. But it's one of those that's like, meh, not necessarily fair game, you know? Like, it was a dirty move, but you can understand why he's done it. Because, of course, last corner of your championship, you want to win it. And you've got your championship rival literally the position ahead of you. And Tom backed off to go into the corner behind, but then get the momentum to come out ahead. I think Damien slammed the door, which, again, he is fully within his rights to do. I also think Damien just... I mean, it was an insane race. Don't get me wrong. I would, personally, love to see it given a racing incident. As much as I like Damien, I'd love to see it given a racing incident. And as much as Damien's helped me with my own personal racing, I'd love to see it given as a racing incident. Not just because I like Tom as well, but I just think these sorts of things, like VAR, it's basically VAR is what it is. And it takes ages and ages and ages. And that's boring, you know? Can they just give us a result on the day, and we'll run with that? Tom Roberts winning the title. Anyway, that's my opinion on it. I know that's not necessarily shared because, oh, it needs to be fair. Fine, I get it. It was literally the most insane race ever. So it's annoying that it wasn't actually decided in the race itself. But it was always going to be an insane race. Like, 8 drivers could have won the title. 6 realistically. That's insane in itself before you even get to the racing action. But yeah, fair play to PSGL for cooking up an incredible race. We are now on the penultimate lap of this race. Hoppy has just come in for a set of the mediums. Not sure why particularly, but if he was going for faster lap, you'd go for softs, right? So interesting. Anyway, I'm not one to criticise. I'm not out on the circuit. It could be the case that those softs are awful, but I find it unlikely that the softs are worse than the hards. I find that unlikely. Oh, sorry, it was worse than the mediums. Anyway, final lap of this race. And it's going to be Banana on 60 FPS, who leads this one. And he's been absolutely dominant. Luke Racer came into the pits for a soft stint, and he could potentially be lapped by Banana on 60 FPS. He will not be the first driver that's been lapped. I believe Davey Norris earlier on got lapped before he retired. It has been one of the most dominant performances that he could have possibly put in. He got knocked off of his perch in qualifying in the final moments by Chaz. He didn't let himself, like Chaz did, get caught up in any rubbish, in any shenanigans, in any battles. He just stayed out of it, and ever since then, he has been flying and will take home today a fully deserved 26 points away from the Austrian Grand Prix circuit. Banana on 60 FPS now. He knows that he's weaving his way through the final sector, and he's going to come across the line to take victory here in Austria. The Haas driver will take home all of the potential points that he could have in what has been an incredibly dominant performance. Chaz in P2. These two, insane pace. Third place will be Hoppy, who's 20 seconds off. And that 20 seconds has been built up by raw pace by Chaz, as well as Hoppy coming into the pits for a set of the mediums, trying to go for the fastest lap of the race. Whether he's been able to or not is another question. I don't think he has, because he pitted on that last lap. But he comes across the line P3 regardless. P4 for Floyd Pink, who performed pretty decently. He won the battle of the admins. And then Luke Racer is going to be the last finisher in this one, as he almost got lapped, but instead he had to go for another lap around the Österreich ring. A victory lap for P5 on a set of 6-lap-old soft compound tyres. But now he's going to come up to the line to finish his race and finish our race here in DCD. 2 minutes left on the timer. He pulls over to the side, gives us a little donut, gives us a little spin, something to watch, which he hasn't been able to do very much today, but he does so regardless. And well, he's about to be, there we go, across the line backwards. Good way to finish for Luke Racer. And that is the end of your Austrian Grand Prix. Your victor, Banana on 60 FPS. He and Chaz, insane pace over the rest of the field. Took his opportunities when he got them, and that was that for the Haas driver. He took victory. P2 for Chaz, and P3 for Hoppy. 4th for Floyd Pink, 5th for Luke Racer, and Davey Norris, Jim Stroud, Bryers, and Chuck Norris, your non-finishers. This will be, at least for a while, the last broadcast that I will do for DCD, because they want to get the state of the league and the numbers of the league up and running again before they get broadcasting back. So, and I mean it this time, until next time, is goodbye.